Lots of my singing students struggle with how to get publicity for their music. I mean, let's face it, singing is a very, very competitive field, and you want to get every edge that you can possibly get. And one of the differences between someone who's just getting started off and someone that really achieves a good amount of success is how much publicity they're able to generate for their music. I mean, let's face it, you could have the best music in the world, but if nobody hears it, unfortunately, it doesn't really matter. So I asked my good friend Kristine Mirelle, who gets absolutely amazing publicity, about how you can get that same level of publicity all without a major label.
Hey there. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Kristine is a songwriter, vocalist, and a performer that's performed in international commercials, placed top 10 on the X Factor. She's won 4 national piano competitions, and she's even sung the national anthem at the LA Dodgers game. These days, Kristine shares music industry contacts with independent musicians so that they can promote their music better. But let's face it, I mean, all of the contacts in the world aren't going to help you promote your music better if you don't know how to actually pitch a story. So I wanted to talk to Kristine a little bit about her process for getting major label publicity without a label. Hey, Kristine, how's it going? I am super excited to talk to you, and especially what you have to share with the other folks that are watching this.
I think the most exciting thing about this is that, there's so many artists out there, bands, rappers, everybody that thinks you have to have a hit song, or you have to have a manager, or you have to have a record deal, or you have to spend a lot of money for you to get on major media, right? And I assumed kind of the same thing, before I got into this industry, really. How would I get on Fox? That's huge. How would I get on NBC, CBS, Kiss FM, Power 106? I've been on all those things, without a record label, without a manager, without even a hit song. I didn't have like some big music video that went viral or anything like that. And so I'm just excited to share my story, how I've done it, and then explain to other people how they can do it too. So there's really 4 steps that I tell everyone. And really it starts off with the first one, which is kind of common sense, but we got to figure out what it is that we're promoting. Are we promoting a single? Are we promoting a music video? Are we promoting a tour? Do you have a big festival that you're, coming up that you're about to perform in? Do you have an album that you're putting out? What is it that you are promoting? Or maybe you just have this really cool song. Maybe you haven't even recorded anything, but you're a really great live performer. Like, these are all great things that you can think about of what you want to promote. Because you don't want to just hit up a media outlet and be like, I should be on your show, right? They're going to be like, why? I got a million other people trying to be on our show. Why you?
Okay, so you need to decide what it is that you're going to be promoting. I mean, is it a tour? Is it a new album, a special live stream, new merch? Don't overthink this. Save all that brain power for step 2, which is where we'll discuss your story that gives major news outlets a no-brainer reason why they should cover you and your music.
And that's the next thing. That's step 2. After we figure out what it is that we're promoting, let's say, I'll use myself as an example. I was going on a tour. So I did a 25 city tour all around the United States that I set up myself. I did all the work, and I decided, that I was going to really promote this and get this out there. And I thought it had a great message. What I was doing was really cool. I knew people would find it interesting. And so I knew major media would find it interesting. And that's part 2. That's what you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, what about me is interesting? What's my story? Because people don't just they don't watch television because they like the music. That's not what they do. We're talking about television right now. We're talking about major media. They usually watch, you think about American Idol, you think about The Voice, X Factor, all those types of things. People like the story. They like to hear about how the person had to overcome obstacles, or how hard it's been, or how much they love their grandmother and they're doing it for her, all that kind of stuff. They love the story. And that's why it's really important, for you to ask yourself, what's my story? So let's, for me, the tour, as I did my tour, I thought my story around this tour was, I was performing for kids, right? I was performing for kids during the day, and I would perform adult shows. Well, not adult shows, that sounds terrible. Shows for grown people, regular, where I'm not singing little kid songs. in the evening, at like casinos and bars and that sort of thing. And so, but what really got me to go to that place, why I was doing the tour was because as a child, I used to always watch those commercials where the poor little kids in Africa were always, just looked like so much hardships. And so I traveled all around the world. I went to Africa, I went to Thailand, I went to Peru. I worked with special education kids in Bangkok. I mean, I did a lot of different things. And then I decided I wanted to do it all around the United States, right? That's a story. I've been to South Africa. I've worked with orphans here. I've worked in the slums here. I've worked, what makes you interesting? I knew I could sit down with a network and tell people about that, and people would find that interesting. I knew that I could then tell them that I'm sleeping on people's couches, that I'm traveling around in my Jeep, that I have t-shirts that I printed out that were all the way up to the ceiling in my Jeep. And that's how I'm making money to get to the next show. I let everybody know that I was, just really, doing it on my own. And I was out there, and I knew that people would find that interesting if I told my story in that way. Ask yourself, what makes you unique? What makes you different? What makes you not like every other artist out there that's just telling people, listen to my music, play my music video, let me perform on your show, right? And the big thing is mentally to really get in this place where you go, television networks, they have to have ratings, right? They have to make money. That's just part of it. Those towers cost millions of dollars. It costs millions of dollars to air TV shows. So for you to go, hey, you should just have me on your show, that's kind of a big favor that you're asking, right? And at the end of the day, they don't need you. They don't need you on there. There's plenty of other businesses and people that would pay them to be on their shows, right? Pay them to get those podcast interviews, pay them to get on those radio interviews. So why should they have you on their show? So you got to think, hey, if I was watching this show, would I change the channel? Like if someone was just singing and I have a million other things that I could watch all this other crazy stuff going on, or would I watch myself talk about how great my music is?
Hey, Kristine, I know that this is all really good advice, but I'm just kind of wondering, how is this relevant right now during these weird times when most people can't go out and do things?
Another big thing is think about how what you created is relevant to what's happening right now. So one of an artist who watched one of my big trainings that I did, he hit me up the other day and he's like, I have to thank you. I'm about to be on the CW. It's a major television network. And he said, I followed your advice. And so what he said was, he had this song that he had done and he had been, created a video and that kind of thing. But he goes, it all makes sense now. He said, now I feel like I can reach out to these television networks. Because he said with COVID, he had started making all these masks, and I guess he was using the music to raise money to make masks and then donate them, something like that. And what it did was it gave the CW, it gives any network interest in it because it goes, hey, here's how one musician, even though all the venues are shut down and we can't perform, they're not able to make money doing that. They've used their music for a cause. They've used their music and are now making masks and donating them to hospitals. And they've used their music to spread this love and hope to people that are at home. Like, do you see how that's also, it's a story and it's relevant to what's going on right now. So, at the time of this video anyway. So what's going on right now? Think about that. Think about what's going on in pop culture. Think about what's going on in just the world, what's going on in news. Has there been something that you created that is relevant to right now? Because then you could really reach out to these networks and be like, hey, I made a song about peace on earth, because maybe there's like some crazy stuff going on around the world right now, and you're like, hey, and maybe it's making big news. Well, here's a song to uplift people. Just keep in mind, you're in competition with all the other artists out there that are trying to get in the same place. They're trying to get on those same media outlets. So why should they choose you? If you're not paying them, then you better make the most interesting story you possibly can so that their viewers will watch, because that's how they stay in business, by keeping people watching their television channels. If people turn away, they don't make money, and they have to make money to continue their network, right? Everybody's got to do that. And you got to think, what do they want and what do I want? What they want are ratings. What I want is I want people to see me. I want to create visibility and exposure to my music. So I need to give them ratings if I'm going to ask them to do this for free. If I'm not handing them money, then I better give them some sort of interesting story.
Okay, in step 2, where you're creating your story, I hate to say it, but this is where most artists totally fail. They think that their music or their singing or, their album or whatever it is good enough on its own, that it should just be spread viral just by itself because it's so good. But major outlets thrive on ratings and advertising dollars in order to be sustainable. So what makes you so special that they should cover you and your music? I love that Kristine points out this whole idea of overcoming obstacles. What obstacles have you had to overcome in order to do what it is that you do? And just keep in mind, that's just one take on this, but that is such a powerful story. If you've had to overcome obstacles in order to release your music, or something made you want to be a better singer, use that. Really think outside the box on this one. And when you're testing out lots of these different ideas, always ask yourself, if you saw this on TV or heard it on a podcast or, saw it on your favorite YouTube channel, would you switch to something else? Would you change the channel? And if the answer is yes, then you need to keep working.
And third, we got to put this in some sort of presentation format, right? You can make a great video. I've done a video where I talked about, why I put out my music video or why I was going on tour. I had music in the background, I did all kinds of cool stuff. I had photos and videos from my life and that sort of thing. You can create an EPK. You can go on there. If you're not sure how to do that, you can Google it. Go how to make an EPK for artists. There's plenty of ways to do that out there. It's basically creating your online electronic press kit, your online resume where someone can just click on it and read your press release. That's the other thing, is creating a great, press release is usually 2 or 3 paragraphs that talk about your story. What's your story? Put it in a format where someone can read it, and then put it online where you can send someone a link. So it makes it really easy for you to send that to these media networks and say, here's my story, here's my EPK, here's my press release, here's my video talking to you about who I am. Because then they'll also see that you're good on camera. They'll see that you're, outgoing. They'll see that you're going to make a great addition to their network or their TV show. So make sure to put it in a nice presentation format.
So in step 3, Kristine recommends putting it all together into a presentable format. That means putting together an electronic press kit, putting together a press release that promotes your story, and number 3, shooting a high quality video that tells your story and shows that you're good on camera. Ideally, you want to have all of this in one place online so that it's super easy for the people that you're contacting to see it all together in one place. The less searching that they have to do, the better.
And last, and the most important thing, is to take action, to start contacting those media outlets. And you can Google it. You can type in local radio stations, local TV stations. When I was on tour, I just started I started Googling TV and radio in every city that I was going to, and then I would just send them my EPK, my press release. I would send them my website and all those types of things and be like, here you go, I'm coming in town. I would love to stop by and talk to you guys about my tour. And of course, they could take a look and see if that was something that they wanted to include. So take action. Don't do all this work and not take the action. I know a lot of people that plan, and then they get scared because they don't want to hear no. Well, I tell everyone, even for me now, even as a professional, making a living as a musician, I'm still told no all the time. And it doesn't matter. You just need one yes for something to really make a huge difference in your life.
Okay, you've made it this far. You've done the hard work. Now it's time to actually take action. So you've got your EPK, your electronic press kit. You've got your press release. You've got your high quality video shoot that's showing that you're good on camera. It's time to start reaching out to the people that matter. Now, it could be your local TV news or even a YouTube channel that you really admire, which is actually how this whole collaboration took place in the first place. But just to insert a little bit of my own personal advice in here, you want to have a really, really personalized pitch that you're sending out to these people. You want to maybe do a little bit of research on them, other kinds of stories that they've covered before, and things that really, really intrigue them. Maybe even find out a little bit about them personally. Oh, they really like windsurfing, and maybe you happen to like that too. Don't make stuff up. You have to be super, super genuine. You have to have a highly personalized touch, but also a large list of contacts that you want to reach out to. The reason that you want to have a large list of people to reach out to is because, unfortunately, it's inevitable that you're going to get rejected. You're going to hear no a lot. But those no's really don't matter so much when you have a big list of people that you want to reach out to. If there's always somebody else that you can call, then the no's that you do hear really won't affect you that badly. Hey, Kristine, I know that there are like literally thousands of people who are making the decisions about who to feature on their programs. Do you have any advice on who to reach out to and how to do that?
Yeah, so it takes so long to Google these blogs and websites, magazines, Spotify playlists, radio stations, that are willing to play independent music, that sort of thing. And so I put together a huge list of more than 4,000 of these blogs, websites, magazines, Spotify playlists, of emails and social media contacts where artists can send their, music, can send their songs, their music video, their links to these different media outlets who will consider playing them as an independent artist, which is awesome because it literally took hundreds and actually more than 1,000 hours of compiling, and it's all separated by genre. It makes it so easy. And it takes all of that work that you would have to do, spending hundreds of hours searching for these media outlets. And I just hand it over to you, and you can just take your music and you can send it right away. As soon as you get it, as soon as you buy it, you can get the PDF download right away, and you can start sending out your music within minutes, which is awesome. And I wish I had something like that when I first started out, because that would have saved me a lot of time.
To get the full list of industry contacts to reach out to, definitely check out Kristine's Go Viral ebook. You can find that on the bookstore on her homepage at KristineMirelle.com. Awesome, Kristine. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking us through that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love sharing this because so many people don't know about it. And once I tell people, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I thought they had to reach out to me, or I thought I had to make it big. I'm like, nope, I've been doing this since I was a teenager. I've been on news stations since I was, before I was even an adult doing it. So, it's just a proof to show everyone that it doesn't matter where you are in your career, whether you're just starting out or whether you're, really far. You can get published, you can get shared, you can get on TV, you can get on radio, you can get on podcasts, you can get on newspapers, you can get in magazines, you can go wherever you want. You just got to follow the steps. Good luck, everybody. Make sure to check out the links and get the list for yourself. I have a lot of other stuff, and I'm always working with artists. I have a ton of stuff on my YouTube channel. I have a ton of stuff everywhere, just giving you guys information on how I built my music career, how I've traveled the world and just seen some amazing things, all doing what I love. And there's so many of you guys out there that should be doing the same thing. You're so talented, and the world needs to hear your gifts. So I hope that you guys all stick with this, go out there, make it happen. Good luck. Thank you so much.